Hello, welcome back to my series where I make the Winx characters in Sims 3. And this time, what I've done is I've made the professors from Red Fountain, Professor Saladin and Codatorta. So the Red Fountain, you probably know, is the specialist school, where all of the Winx's like boyfriends go. And these two professors are fairly important to the storyline. So I decided it was important also to make them on The Sims 3. So I start off with Saladin, who is the old wizard professor, like the headmaster of the school. He's also Helia's, I think uncle. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember. Um, and so because he's an old man, I've tried to like give him the very, like very white hair, um, like old man features and everything. But because he still fights and he's quite strong, I'm trying to not make him seem very very weak. Like he has the serious like eyebrow look going on, and like the intense like jaw and everything. So um it was a little bit difficult to get all of his features right, because when on the Sims you make them, the features of Sims during the different stages of life, they default to like more or less exaggerated in one way or another. So for example, over here I'm having a fair amount of trouble trying to make Saladin's nose, which should be quite crooked on the cartoon, but it still shouldn't look like and it shouldn't look evil, it shouldn't look out of place. It shouldn't look um too big. So it's crooked, but his nose is still quite thin. And trying to find a balance between giving him like an intense crooked nose and not making it like seem disproportionate for his face was really really complicated. Um, because yeah, at the end of the day, we do want him to resemble a real person rather than just an exaggerated cartoon character. Because in The Sims 3, my idea at least, is to try and make the Winx characters resemble what they would in a Sims 3 universe rather than try to make exact copies of them. Because if I did try to make exact copies of the features of cartoon characters, then that would end up looking fairly alien on characters that are supposed to look like real humans. So I'm trying to find a balance over here with giving him intense enough eyebrows and intense, like a crooked enough nose, without making him look like an evil old man, if that makes sense. At the same time, his jaw was especially complicated because he has like the very intense like cheekbone is highlighted on the cartoon, and the jaw as well. But I could not get that to work on The Sims 3. I could not like get him to have an intense uh, jaw structure because it just falls out of bounds. So I think I did okay enough to make an old man character with like long white hair and like not look too old or too decrepit or too exhausted in terms of facial structure. And then I moved on with the outfit. So Saladin in the movies, in the series, he wears like quite beige tones, quite loose fitting outfit. So I tried to match it with whatever we had available on the clothes of The Sims 3. So I think this outfit is not 100% representative of what he would wear, um, because he still is a little bit more modern than that. But you know, we did what we could with his formal outfit and the everyday outfit. The sleeping outfit and the sporty outfit didn't really matter because I will not be following the Sims around. Um, like I will not be following Saladin in his everyday daily activities. He can wear whatever he wants for exercise and sleep. Um, in terms of traits, I gave him eccentric and genius because we do know that he's very strong. He fights in the company of light. He's very like he thinks ahead and he can plan very well. I gave him athletic because he does still like fight and move and is very energetic despite old age, and I made him good as well. So I think these traits are resemble fairly well what Red Fountain characters would like be like. And in terms of his lifetime wish, I couldn't find anything 100% fitting for him, because how do you find a lifetime wish that is basically being a headmaster at Red Fountain? I don't know. Um, yeah, and the rest of the favorites and the voice, um, just whatever I thought would fit him best. And that was mostly it for Saladin. Then I moved on to Codatorta. So Codatorta is the other teacher in Red Fountain. He is more focused with the like athletic training of the specialists, the dragons and things like this, like on the field action. Um so I made him an adult because he's not as old as Saladin. And I still need him to be older than my Red Fountain like specialist Sims. I tried to find a beard that would match what he has, but there is nothing exactly that matches it. Because if I tried to find something that has a mustache, then most of the time it didn't have like the sideburn situation connection. And then the middle, the little middle chin line, I also could not find that connected with a mustache. So it was kind of like I'm gonna have a trade off between having a mustache and having the, I don't know what this thing is called, the chin beard, like that weird beard, or I would like compromise by giving him sort of like a stubble and a beard around his entire face. So I just could not find anything better, so I decided to give him this so that he has at least a bit of a mustache and a bit of a beard. I assumed he would have facial body hair, so I gave him that option. The hair, I could not find anything that matched him. It was such a difficult situation because he has this like triangular almost hairstyle. On the side of his head, the hair kind of sticks out a little bit. So I couldn't find anything that had a different hairstyle compared to the just basic slick back that would just not look ridiculous on him, because everything else would look ridiculous. So I gave him this. The color needed to be darkened a little bit, which also helps to match the character a little bit better. The one thing that's very characteristic about Codatorta in the cartoons is that his eyes, they have like the under eye like bag. The bag is like, he looks really like tired and intense, like he looks like he's seen things. So I tried to match that eye thing by like having his eyes a little bit further set a little bit further in. And then his nose also has like the double, like the bridge that is like sticking out a little bit. So I tried to give him like this double like the little double bump on his nose, which was also very difficult to do without it looking exaggerated. Because right now he was very difficult to do. Make him look like a real human being while also making him look like the cartoon character, because he can look like a real human being, but it doesn't feel close enough. It's not as intensely characteristic as it was in the cartoon. So I tried my best. He looks like a real human being. His eyes are set further in, which I wanted to achieve. His color scheme is a little bit off. Just because it was very difficult to match his colors to his cartoon character without him looking absolutely ridiculous. I tried to match the jaw bit. I think that improved significantly how much he matches the cartoon character, like the jaw structure and the cheekbone structure. I exaggerated that a little bit more because he's also meant to be like a super buff character in the cartoon series, in order to train everyone and like deal with the dragons and stuff. So I wanted to make him like look big, because in the cartoons he's just ridiculously sized, without him looking fat, which is a difficult thing to try to achieve on The Sims 3, because there's only a finite number of things you can do in terms of their body structure. So then I moved on with trying to match his the outfit for Red Fountain. I think this specific top is the one on The Sims 3 that works best to look like a specialist type of top. So, and the color matching again is a little bit off, but it is giving specialist enough. So I'm happy with that. Like, this is gonna be the default specialist outfit top. His formal one and his other ones, again, they didn't really matter. I gave him what I thought would look more specialist like. And then his sporty one, I moved it also back to use the same top as his everyday specialist outfit, just because their everyday is their sporty outfit. It's the same thing in Red Fountain. So I gave him like the little bracelet to make him a little bit edgier. Yeah, so in terms of outfit, I think as long as he has this top, he is fine. We will know that he is a specialist in the game. So that is good enough for me. And yeah, I think overall it wasn't the easiest thing that I had to do, making these two professors, but it definitely kind of worked out by the end of it. Again, I gave him traits that are like similar to what you would need it for Red Fountain, like being brave, being a daredevil, being handy, and loving the outdoors. Again, those are because mostly like he handles the on the field stuff, and I gave him like the military wish, because he trains a specialist. So that's as close as we're gonna get to that. Yeah, so I think overall this wasn't too bad, but they are definitely not the easiest characters to try and translate onto their like Sims 3 equivalent, into like a real life equivalent. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this as well, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.